Bada bing! Yo, people, I'm tired. I'm going to finish off with this one, yeah? You're watching KOTP TV. That's DZ, that's Des Rocksteady at King of the Pit TV. I have just listened to the record smash, alright? Done reactions to the entire record. Should be on the channel by now. If not, it's on the Patreon, right? We're going to have a little look at the history that surrounded the record at this period. And we're going to have a little look in regards to some of the information of the record. See what we can work out and see what the deal is. So, mainstream success with Smash, 94 to 95. And of course, people, if you missed the first part, if you are an Offspring fan, I'm going through the history of the Offspring alongside my reactions to the records one by one throughout the entire discography. So I have done Ignition and the debut record prior to this, and even the history prior to that. Check out the video. When the Offspring returned to the studio in January 94 to record their third album, the band's relations with producer Tom Wilson had begun to strain. 3 months later, the Offspring released what would become their biggest selling album, titled Smash. The album was initially released to little mainstream attention until its lead single, Come Out and Play, which has a great guitar lick, received airplay from the Los Angeles radio station Croc FM. KROQ FM. Anybody ever heard of that? Any American heads? Helping to raise the band's profile and eventually hitting number 1 on the Billboard rock charts for 2 weeks in the summer of 94. The success of Come Out and Play not only propelled Smash at peak number 4 at Billboard 200, which is crazy considering they weren't anywhere near that prior, and received simultaneous gold and platinum certification 4 months after its release, but it also helped bring punk rock into the mainstream. That's a bold statement, and is often considered a breakthrough album for the then underground pop punk and skate punk scenes. The album's next 2 singles, Self-Esteem and Gotta Get Away, had similar success to Come Out and Play in both chart performance and radio airplay. Smash has continued to sell consistently well in the years after its release, setting an all-time record for most units sold by an independent label band at over 11 million records. Wow! How mad that we just... Obviously, it's been recommended to me, but how mad that we've just come across this milestone of music. And having sold over 6 million copies in the US by 2000. The album also sold very well outside of the US, particularly in Australia, where it debuted number 1 on the ARIA charts and remained in that position for 3 weeks in 95. Cool. So the Offspring toured extensively through 94 and 95 in support of Smash, in addition to opening for bands like Pennywise, Bad Religion and SNFU. The band had all... Who were SNFU? I've heard it every once in a while. Canadian hardcore punk band formed in 81. Relocated to Vancouver in 92, disbanded in 2018. Nothing major. I've never heard of them. The band, well, I say that in jest, of course. You know, I have heard of them, and I'm sure they are a deal to some people. But in the grand scheme of things, you know what I mean, the Offspring are leagues ahead. The band had already graduated to headliner status by the summer of 94 when they toured North America with Guttermouth and Big Drill Car. Big Drill Car, anyone? Toured Europe with Disaster Area, and then toured the US in the fall with Rancid. Big Rancid. Rancid the punk band, people? Well, I know, you've got your old school heads like you, Sex Pistols and Clash and stuff, but as far as modern punk is concerned, reaching out to the kids, is Rancid that band? Touring for Smash continued throughout the first half of 95, playing their first shows in Japan and Australia, including appearances at Big Day Out. So what's going on at Big Day Out? BDO was its dead and gone now annual music festival that was held in 5 Australian cities: Sydney, Melbourne, Gold Coast, Adelaide and Perth, as well as Auckland, New Zealand. Right, there we go. And headline tour dates for bands like Weezer, Quicksand, No Use of a Name, The Vandals and Lunachicks. Lunachicks brought up again, an American punk rock band from New York City, formed in 87. Band cited influences from the Ramones, Kiss and the MC5, so probably could put a decent tune together, hopefully. By the end of the album supporting tour, the Offspring had started playing at larger venues such as theatres and arenas, as opposed to the clubs and smaller venues they were previously accustomed to. Also in 95, the band bought out the rights to their first album. How did they do that? How much was that? I want to know the business behind that one. Holland and created their own record label, Nitro Records, and started signing bands. One of their first releases was a re-release of the band's '89 debut, The Offspring. The label also signed a number of punk bands, including The Vandals, Guttermouth, Jughead's Revenge, and AFI. AFI, I need to check out AFI, people. I had a mate who was mad on AFI. Soon after, Nitro Records became solely Holland's responsibility. Right, so let's have a look at Smash and see whether we've got any cool factoids. Cool. So, wow, we've got a heap of information on here, so I'm not going to bed anytime too soon. Fucking hell. Smash is the third record, right? After touring blah 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 blah. The band recorded their next album over 2 months at Track Records in North Hollywood, California. I mean, it's wild how it took them 2 months to record. I'm sure they were doing things back and forth and, you know, busy and so forth, but it's so many guitars, a vocal line, and drums. I don't get it. Smash was the I know things were different back then, but I don't know why you're not just getting into the studio and doing the job. Smash was the Offspring's introduction into worldwide popularity and produced a number of hit singles, including Come Out to Play, Self-Esteem, and Gotta Get Away. Along with Green Day's Dookie, Smash was responsible for bringing punk rock into the mainstream. Wikipedia is bold on stating that this record has brought punk rock into the mainstream. That's a crazy, crazy way of putting it, and helped pave the way for the emerging pop-punk scene of the 90s. As a fan favourite, the album received generally positive reviews from critics and garnered attention from major labels including Columbia, with whom the band would sign in '96. Peaking at number 4 on the Billboard 200, Smash has sold over 11 million copies worldwide, making it the best-selling album released by an independent record label, that independent record label being Epitaph. It was also the first Epitaph release to obtain gold and platinum status in the United States. Smash has sold over 6 million copies and has been certified 6 times platinum by the RIAA. So, we've got background and recording here, yeah? So Ignition exceeded all the labels and band's expectations. Following the subsequent touring to support Ignition, The Offspring began writing new material for their third album in mid-93. Recording sessions for Smash took place in January and February 94 at Track Record in North Hollywood. On the recording process of the album, frontman Dexter told Flux magazine in '94, "When we recorded this album, our last one had sold maybe 15,000 copies, so the possibility of us getting played on the radio or anything like that was pretty much non-existent." Man, imagine selling 15,000 copies as an indie act in this day. That's a lot. Let's say you were selling CDs from the back of your car, 15,000 copies at, you know, a tenner each, 150 grand. That's a lot of money. Especially because this kind of music is not generally considered acceptable by the mainstream. So, for something like this to happen, it really took us by surprise. Smash had a small budget of 20 grand, which frequently restricted the band, according to guitarist Noodles. We were constantly calling our studio to find out when it was empty so we could sneak in at a discount price. That's the way it goes. 20 grand for the studio, though. I would have recorded that in... Especially back then in the 90s, that was even more so. Bruh, I'd be like, Noodles, you need to record them guitars in 1 day. I'm not messing about. You need to record them guitars in 1 day. And when you go into the studio, especially when you're at these high-end places, you best believe the producer is having a laugh. The sound engineer's like, oh, you need to go out and go buy some new guitar strings. You've just played them for 2 songs on the record. And you're like, I'm paying for the time here. Little things like that. And then they're saying, oh, yeah, you're probably going to have to come back for another session. What are you on about? I've been there. We were constantly calling our studio to find out when it was empty. Yep. And the last 4 songs recorded for the album were worked on through just 2 nights. Yep, understandable. Writing and composition. Punk rock bands like Green Day and Rancid were gaining popularity, and riding on this wave of popularity, Smash's singles became radio rock hits. An example of this was the success of The Offspring's first major single release, Come Out and Play, which reached number 1. That's crazy, reaching number 1. That lick in that song, that guitar lick, that melody is one of a kind, I'm telling you. Second symbol. Ding! The second single release from the album, Self-Esteem, became a radio hit, managing to peak at number 4 on the Billboard Modern Rock track charts. Although it didn't hit number 1 like its prior hit, Self-Esteem was actually more popular and became more successful worldwide. On YouTube, Self-Esteem's got more views than Come Out and Play. Almost double from what I remember. The lyrics are about an abusive relationship in which the girl takes advantage of her boyfriend as he has no self-esteem to stand up for her. stand up to her. Contrary to popular belief, the song is not autobiographical. In a interview, Dexter revealed that it's about one of his old friends. This song was the most successful and most popular of the album's 3 singles. Yeah, I remember it being quite catchy, that one. There was a couple of very good lines in that one. That's where I really clocked on to the fact that the songwriting had progressed leaps. Third single, Gotta Get Away, was another rock radio hit, although it was not as successful as the previous 2. The song reached number 6 on the Billboard Modern Rock Tracks chart, being the last song written for the album. The lyrics describe a point in Dexter's life when he was suffering from extreme pressure due to the then upcoming deadline of the album. Hey, nice, organic, honest record. What Happened to You is driven by a Jamaican ska beat. So random, so random. A fourth song, Bad Habit, received radio play in some areas but was never really officially released. However, it is often their set opener and is a favourite among fans. So this was the first track of the record, wasn't it, more or less? Or was it like the second? Well, the second literally, because the first was like an intro. The lyrics discuss road rage to the point where the protagonist shoots at the car in front of him. The only cover in the album was Kill Boy Powerhead by The Digits, clocking in at 46 minutes. Smash It is the Offspring's longest album to date. Wow, that's good news for me. Who were The Digits then? American punk rock band formed in Mattoon, Illinois in 1983. I've never heard of The Digits, but I love the name. I think the name is very cool. So let's have a look at the reception. Critical reviews of Smash were mostly positive. Stephen Thomas Owen, he always pops up, called it a solid record. This guy must be the voice of music because he's always in these Wikipedia things. Solid record filled with enough heavy riffs to keep most teenagers happy. Owen plays the music as relentlessly heavy. For the album, he claims that the Offspring had crossed over because of the success of its single Come Out and Play, which stopped and started just like Nirvana. Bold statement. Sputnik music reviewer Mike Stagno called it a fun album to listen to. Robert Christgau was less favourable, giving the album a neither rating. Alright, I don't know what that stands for, maybe middle of the ground. Chart performance and sales, despite obtaining early support from the LA modern rock radio station K-Rock, Smash initially received little attention. Alright, we've gone through the chart performance, basically we'll bypass that. The legacy, let's have a look at how it stands the test of time. So Smash has inspired a number of musicians during Trivium's early days. Guitarist Matt Heafy performed a cover version of Self-Esteem at his middle school talent show, Incredible, at Lake Brantley High School, while the British synth-pop group Cuban Boys, never heard of them, also covered that song on their only full-length album, Eastwood. Who the hell are the Cuban Boys? The album's other hit, Come Out and Play, was covered by Richard Cheese, aka Dick Cheese, if you didn't know, on his 2000 album Lounge Against the Machine. And again, it's novelty music. I hate novelty music. And again, released on the 2006 Best Of album, The Sunny Side of the Moon. Brett Gurewitz, the guitarist of Bad Religion and president of Epitaph, had also mentioned that he liked Smash and described it as a very good record. I'm very hopeful that he said that because I'm sure it made him a lot of money, a lot of success for the record label. New York melodic hardcore punk band After the Fall mentioned Smash in their song 1994, which appears on their 2009 album Fort Orange. Along with Green Day's Dookie, Smash was among the most commercially successful punk rock albums released in 1994, a year when the genre reached arguably its greatest popularity. I've been hearing 93 for a moment. What is it, 93 or 94? By the end of the year, Dookie and Smash had both sold millions of copies. The commercial success of these two albums attracted major label interest in punk rock, with bands such as Rancid, NoFX and Pennywise, who had all been label mates with the Offspring at the time, being offered lucrative contracts to leave their indie record labels, though this offer was rejected. Who rejected the offer? I'd be selling the hell out. Smash has been listed on several publications' best album lists. In November 2011, the album was ranked number 2 on Guitar World's Magazine Top 10. Yep. Okay, cool. The album was included at number 6 on Rock Sound's The 51 Most Essential Pop Punk Albums of All Time list. It's a bold statement. NME listed the album as one of the 20 pop punk albums which will make you nostalgic. Not me, because I didn't go through the period of listening to Offspring. I had a mate who had the Offspring hoodie. But it wasn't that record, it was the logo from the 2000 record. Artwork. Smash, as well as the singles Come Out and Play, Self-Esteem, Gotta Get Away, have a common artwork theme, an ominous and highly distorted skeleton on the cover, disc and back of the CD case. The music videos for Self-Esteem Come Out of Play also have several scenes with a similar skeleton. The symbol is believed to represent the core motives of the album: death, greed, suicide, violence, addiction, and abuse. That's deeper than I thought it would have been. That's that deep element of the band, the dark energy I received from the sound of the record. I don't follow the lyrics too much. The skeleton is used to represent that the continuation of these acts will inevitably lead to death, well, living will, or alternatively the end of the human race. The art direction is credited to Kevin Head and Fred Hidalgo, who also designed the artwork for the Bad Religion album Recipe for Hate, which is a horrible album title. Let's have a look at that album cover. Album covers are alright. The album cover for that Bad Religion record's better than the skeleton on front of the Offspring one. I won't pay nobody to do artwork like that Offspring cover. I think it's rubbish. Touring and promotion. The Offspring toured for... Yep, we know that. The Offspring was reportedly offered but turned down opening arena tours with bands like the Stone Temple Pilots and Metallica, replacing Alice in Chains on the latter's summer 1994 tour due to their desire to continue playing in clubs. Holland has been quoted as saying, "It really just didn't seem like the right thing to do. I still like the club thing, even if it's a big club. I like Stone Temple Pilots. It's not like we're saying we're too punk for that." Basically, what he's trying to say is that it was a buy-on. They offered them to pay onto the tour. That's what happens in those situations, people. Come on now, let's not get it twisted. The Offspring's next, and if I'm wrong, who cares? Shoot me. The Offspring's next US tour took place in October, November 94, and was supported by Rancid, who were promoting their second album, Let's Go. That just to go back in that, I don't know if they had pay-ons, but I got mates in bands and all that. Whenever a nice, decent tour comes, if people are pulled out and so on and so forth, it's called a buy-on. Yeah. Bands do that. They pay for the promotional value. It's a bad way of doing things. But some bands pull it off. I think Decapitated did it at one point. In January 95, The Offspring embarked on their first tour of Japan and Australia, where they co-headlined Big Day Out with Ministry, Primal Scream, Hole, and The Cult. I need to check out The Cult, because I only know The Cult from the single. One-hit wonders to me, The Cult. English rock band. They toured the US with Quicksand and No Use for a Name in Feb to March 95, and then headlined the European tour, which was followed by another US tour with the Vandals and Lunatics, and another European tour in June-July. The Offspring took the rest of the 95 off before playing 3 shows in Southern California in December and one off show in Orange, California with Rancid in 96. In August 96, the band played its final dates of the Smash tour in Europe. This Wikipedia page has got a hell of a lot of accurate information. I mean, when I say accurate, I mean it seems detailed, right? The Offspring embarked on a full-scale tour in the summer and fall of 2014 to commemorate the 20th anniversary of the release of Smash. On this tour, they played the Smash album in its entirety. And as far as reissues, because the debut album got reissued about 100 times, Smash has been reissued at least twice. Remastered issues of Ignition and Smash were released on June 17, 2008, the same day as the Offspring's 8th studio album, Rise and Fall, Raging Grace. On April 8, 2014, the 20th anniversary of the original release, the Offspring announced that they would be releasing a special edition of Smash in mid-August on Epitaph. It was released as a special package which shows Epitaph still owns the masters, even though they moved on to Columbia. But Epitaph recorded it. They paid for the recording, I assume, or they loaned for the recording. It was released as a special package that contained the remastered album, both CD and vinyl, restyled artwork, and a large format 24-page booklet containing never-before-seen photos. The reissue was also released as a box set. It came with an art print, the first 250 of which were signed and on linen, a live photo print, tour pass replica, and 20th anniversary, and it was included a pin, patch, and guitar pick. The band toured in support of the reissue. The band's are definitely a live performing band, right? Always touring to support all sorts, man. So that was it. And we're going to go onwards and continue listening. That was the longest Offspring record, so we've got plenty in store as far as nice, easy listening developments. I'm looking forward to that. When it's smaller, the album artwork don't look too bad. Maybe it was just like the low-quality pixelated one we saw on YouTube. When it's like a lesser... Well, I don't know about clicking it, but on Wikipedia, the lesser scale size... It don't look too bad like that, to be fair with you, because I've been hating on the album artwork. So we've got Club Me coming up next in 97. Apparently states the chronology, but I heard it was whatever they put out on Columbia. Anyway, people, shout out to all the Offspring heads. One love. I enjoyed the record. It was half decent. I'm signing out.